Excuse me for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. I've excused you for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. And if a lie, Lord, would you not listen? And if a child cries, would you not give them? Yeah, it might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Excuse me for a while. Turn a blind eye with a stay caught right in the middle. A line, Lord, would you not listen? And if a child cries, would you not give them? Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah. Excuse me for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. Have you wondered for a while? I have a feeling deep down you're caught in the middle. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Excuse me for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. I've excused you for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. And if a lie, Lord, would you not listen? Would you not give them? Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. might seem so strong. Yeah, might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Excuse me for a while. Turn a blind eye with a stay caught right in the middle. Have you wondered for a while? I have a feeling deep down you're caught in the middle. And if a line roared, would you not listen? And if a child cries, would you not give them? Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah. Excuse me for a while I'm wide-eyed and I'm so damn caught in the middle. Have you wondered for a while? I have a feeling deep down you're caught in the middle. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah. Oh, seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong. Yeah, I might seem so strong. Yeah, I might speak so long. I've never been so wrong.
2, 1. Good evening. God bless you. It is Tuesday night. We're here. We're in the studio. We're live. We're ready to talk about some stuff. Shout out to everybody in the chat already. A lot of people saying hi. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you like, share, and, just say hi. Say hi to the people. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Who is your mother?
She sustains you as a babe.
Who is your father?
He establishes your way.
Princes of Zion.
Okay.
Okay. Those are the next lyrics in the song for those that know. For those,
We were meant to rule this day.
yeah.
Shout out to
James. Don't listen to our music.
Shaniqua.
Yeah. Shout out to Shaniqua in the chat.
Of course, she's watching.
That's because
Yeah.
y'all haven't done a funky, old school 70s hit yet.
Yeah.
With
We
one of those, I'll be
I don't think we're gonna.
we did some funky's 80s ones though. You know what I mean? You still don't got that in the
No,
playlist.
no, I listen to it sometimes.
What's up, everybody? Though, quick shout out to the fellas in the room today. We got the crew with me. I got Moan to my left, rocking the Eagles hoodie, the
Eagles.
green Eagles hoodie. I got one of them too, man. I think it's the same one.
Is it?
Yeah,
You wore a hoodie, Eagles hoodie yesterday.
yeah, my old beat up joint. Yeah, I got a couple like fresh ones that I haven't even pulled out yet because I like haven't been watching football. I told y'all like I barely was about to watch the Super Bowl, but we'll get to that later. And then we got Jake with me, Jake here, and we got the half black, half Asian, half Indian, half black,
Yeah,
half
it's still,
half
that's still
Indian.
Asian.
Yeah, it is Asian.
It is Asian.
The Calico Asian with the Spanish last name, Mr. James Garcia, aka Mr. Build Right, holding it down. And we got John, and Rachel, who do not have a camera today.
We do not. I couldn't find the adapter. So, and with everything else going wrong, I just left.
And
it.
you forgetting stuff at your house.
Their ankle looks different.
It looks different because there's
I
no
like it.
there's no keyboards there.
Yeah.
There's no keyboards in that spot. See?
Yeah, see, they're all over James's shoulder.
Yeah. Well, those are Steve's keyboards. See, we're packing things up because we're doing a live taping tomorrow at this spot in Blackwood, like this stage.
It's not live. But it's
Well, no, I'm saying it's a live performance being taped.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're doing so we got to bring all the gear over there tomorrow for all that. So a lot of stuff is packed up. But yeah, so if you're watching right now, please share this video. Hit the share button real quick. It doesn't take long at all. Hit the little thumbs up, the little likes. Say hi to each other. Love on each other. Turn to your neighbor and say, I hope you have a good evening.
Say amen.
Shout out to Saker. He said, hi there, Young Lions. What's up, Young Lion?
What up?
Mom said hi to everybody.
How do?
Reenie. Wow, Reenie from school. What's up? Vicky.
Shout out to Vicky Prince. That's V's husband's mom.
Mother-in-law.
All right.
Yeah,
V's
V's
mother-in-law.
mother-in-law.
He was looking at me lost. He was looking
Because
at me.
I thought you were saying it's my mother-in-law. I'm like, wait, that's not. I was confused. It went over my head.
Yeah.
What up, Vicky?
Yeah, what's up? Hi, thank you for tuning in. And anybody who wants to help support the cause, as always, you can go to patreon.com/Young Lion TV.
Shout out to Kim.
Kim. Who's Kim?
You remember Kim?
Kim, which Kim?
I don't want to mess her name up.
Well, shout out Kim. What's up,
remember
Kim?
She lives in Merchantville, but
We used to hang out with her at the mall.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's Cambodian. Is she like half Cambodian?
I don't.
She's the
I
one that
just
salsa
remember.
dances all the time, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up?
Salsa
She probably knows
Shaniqua.
Shaniqua. She probably knows that whole crew. Hey Rainey. Rainey said, hey guys, long time no see. Haven't seen you since high school. But yeah, so again, if you want to support, you want to go to Patreon, you can become a Young Lion, and we will welcome you into the pride.
Saker hating on my Eagles, yo. He said that Eagles jersey, man, don't get me wrong, looking good, but man, them Eagles? Question mark?
Yeah, there's a lot of the
Better
Eagles
watch
got
what you
some
say.
drama going on right now.
Yeah, Wentz is about to be gone.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But anyway, can I get back to
get back.
the people supporting right now? You know, go to the website if you want to hear our music. We got a lot of new music coming out, and we got a lot of good stuff up on there right now. The new single "Where Do We Go" and "Beautiful Eyes" are up on there, and you can stream all of our stuff, of course, and you can get merch on there. We're working on some new merch, some Young Lion merch too. So just stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, so continue with what
Cash
you were
App.
saying about the Eagle. Oh, Cash App. $ Young Lion TV, and you can donate to the cause if you want to. Boom, merch. There it is. Look at that beautiful stuff. We got the Back to Life T-shirts. Those are the popular ones. The one with the Jatan with all the lyrics on it right there. Bam. And then we have the 20th anniversary one that Moan designed right there. That's a dope one too. Rachel was wearing that the other day.
I love that picture of little Jakey.
Yeah, that's the Back to Life album cover. And, you can support. You can go in there and get some merch, and you can support. And, it all goes to helping the cause here, what we're trying to do, trying to spread this word, trying to continue to grow the kingdom. You know what I mean? So
Shaniqua did know Kim.
And she is half Cambodian.
Half Cambodian.
And half Vietnamese.
See, I know I was right.
I didn't want to, agree to anything because, I'd be messing stuff up. I don't remember.
So what's going on with the Eagles right now, real quick? Drama in the NFL.
I just heard that he's about to,
Hang on 1 second.
We're gonna fall asleep on each other.
Wake us up when you're ready.
Because these two, I know, John called me today because he's all concerned about Carson Wentz and how they're dragging him through the mud. Like,
the media is just dragging him. Like, he never said a lot of this stuff, and then they're going off rumors that an analyst made up.
What are they saying that he said?
Yeah, what are they saying?
They never said he said anything. An analyst spread a rumor saying, I believe this is what really went down.
No, but what is he trying to say that Carson Wentz said?
That he's not happy with the team and he wants out.
Okay.
But then Carson Wentz went on record and was saying that...
oh, here we go. Rachel's got an article right there. What does it say?
No mic.
The one right next to the last one. Maybe it's the
touch?
cable. Wiggle the cable. Yeah. There we go. I hear it. Keep wiggling it.
Something's going on.
Check.
Oh, yeah, it's the cable.
Those Amazon
check.
cables.
The Simone
That damn
cables.
Jeff Bezos gets us again. That's Moan right there. Like, remember we were talking last week about Moan. What were we talking about with Moan?
$25 each
His
steak.
25.
Man, that's some good steak.
Yeah. So the same scenario. I'm in here talking like, yo, there's some equipment we need. We got to get some gear. We need some mic cables because the old mic cables are going bad. Moan's like, I just ordered 15 cables right now. Phone back in the pocket. I said, for real? Yo, that's expensive. How much does that cost? And he told me the price. I was like,
That ain't no cable. He's like, listen, let me hook you up with these dry aged steaks for $25.
That was a
So,
few
like-
years ago, though, right?
no. That was last
When was
year.
it?
That was last year. And a little one by one,
One
them
by
cables
one.
keep dropping off. one
Yesterday,
by one.
we're in rehearsal. Yours stopped.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when the cables that we usually get, they'll last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
You
We
know.
still have cables from your pops.
Exactly. Like, if you buy quality cables, they will last if you take care of them. And us, we take care of our cables. You see the way we wrap them.
I
Like,
know, y'all smacked me down a couple of times. Boy, he don't go home.
because them things are expensive.
He
dude.
rapping it on his elbow.
People don't understand how much all of this equipment costs.
It does.
Moan has a rectangle on his face right now.
Yeah, it's on here.
I don't know what's going on. It just popped.
Can I try to get it?
Reload it.
Oh, man. What is going on? Okay. Rectangle face Moan.
The Mark II went out.
Kind of goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah, the equipment. Yeah. This is why we need Patreons. This is why we need people so we can upgrade some stuff.
Help us.
Help us, please. But no, so like mic cables,
Yeah.
Still on.
to buy like a good one at a good length, it's like $25. You know what I mean?
Do you need
And
the
that's
one?
the lower end. You could spend up to $100. You know what I mean, on like a monster cable. Or
What about
something.
like music stores? Like, do they have them there or no?
They do, but
It's like twice.
it's gonna be expensive. Yeah. Like if you go to Sam Ash Guitar Center, you're gonna spend a good amount of money. Like, and there are companies that I usually go through. It's not Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, you can find them on Amazon, but they're going to push you all the cheap ones that are just kind of thrown together, and then they will die on you, and then you just got to buy more microphone cable. So it ends up being more money you spend anyway.
Yeah.
I have an extra microphone cable, long one, laying around. I can bring it in.
Okay.
It was, it's a good one.
What's up, Emma? Emma said hey to the people.
What up, Em?
Emma, I'm so disappointed we didn't get to play soccer this weekend, man. The snow ruined it all.
It's melting though, right?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
supposed
he
to
was
snow again
complaining
this
to me
weekend.
about
It's
that.
supposed to snow Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Goodbye, soccer, Jamie.
Yo, so back to Wentz. What?
So a report came out today with an analyst that spoke to Wentz, and Wentz doesn't have a problem with the team or wanting out. He just doesn't like Howie Roseman. Like, he won't take calls from Howie Roseman. He won't talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're dragging him through the mud. And bunch of millionaire problems.
Just letting you know how much we put too much into sports.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, like, people care extremely way too much. Saker says sports never the same, guys. It's all about the money, unpredictable like the stock market. Yeah. It is all about the money. It's a business. And it's supposed to give you the illusion of you care more than they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you
was it like this before? Because I'm not really a big fan of it, but was sports as this involved with, like, who's going where, like, when during some of the 80s and stuff like that?
It's always been like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always been, but I think now, because there's more nuance, and, like, people have
Social
broken it
media,
down to
Twitter.
algorithms and science and, like, you know what I mean? So that makes it even more. Yeah. And then when you add social media to the dynamic and all of these people that, like, think of it, someone can build their whole fortune off of just creating controversy in sports, like writing articles about who's mad at who. Like, you can get rich off of that.
Yeah.
So it's there's so many other. It's such a huge business.
It's like a male soap opera or whatever.
Yeah. So it just has become all of this. But speaking of sports, the Super Bowl was this weekend. How did everyone feel about that? Did everybody enjoy
Your boy
mega
Patrick Mahomes was running for his life.
But I was torn because, I did kind of want Tom Brady to win too. I was.
Yeah, that's what I said last week. Remember, I was like, there goes Brady, the golden boy. That's
The best takeaway from the Super Bowl was that was horrible.
Yeah.
You watched the Super Bowl?
I watched a little bit. I went to Leslie's sister's house for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So, like, and I just caught it. I mainly talked to people.
James had a whole shindig. What was going on at your house,
Man.
bro?
Yeah, it looked good, though.
I
Yeah.
know. I did some ribs. I did some wings. Shaniqua did a little mac and cheese. We just kept it simple.
So y'all
If you
just
wanna
had
call that-
that was
their own
simple.
thing.
Ribs,
That was
ribs,
simple.
mac
Them
and
ribs
cheese.
didn't look simple.
Yeah,
It looked like you
It
put some
wasn't-
time into those
wasn't
ribs.
nothing simple about that. I was just marinating for 4 days,
Yeah, no.
smoking it on a
Suckling
low
pig right
set
there.
smoke going on there. Nothing too crazy.
Send it to the chat to brag about it.
Yeah. First, he tried to project to me. That was the funny part.
Yeah.
The brother was like, "Yeah, Jamie ain't." Because I was. What did I say? I was like, I forgot it was the Super Bowl
No,
today.
because what I did is what you would do. You're the original James overdo it.
Yeah,
I just copy your feet.
look, put this up. This is James's ribs right here, looking all succulent. Yeah. So the brother was like, "No, first of all, you do this." I said, I'm not. I forgot it was the Super Bowl. You were like, "Yeah, Jamie said he forgot it was the Super Bowl." Meanwhile, this is Jamie. Put this up. And I was like, nah, man, because I literally,
But
I totally forgot.
But honestly, this is when you tell Jamie, "Hey, can you just roast a pork shoulder?" That's what Jamie will do.
I got a reputation now. Nah. So then James starts sending us all his shots, his wings. What was this, macaroni and cheese?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to that picture.
That's
It just ballooned from like, let's just make some wings to.
Yeah.
She was like, you want to make some ribs? I was like, sure, whatever. And then they're like,
Yeah. I was totally like disengaged. And then me and your sister were just chilling. And then we sat down. I was like, let me just turn it. And I was like I was at the second quarter when I turned it on.
Wow.
So I wasn't even.
It was a good game though.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah,
I feel like it was a blowout.
It was a
It was
blowout,
a pretty
bro.
boring game on one side.
I mean,
The
you
other
get to
side was
see. I mean, from that standpoint, yeah, but you get to see, I guess Patrick Mahomes, like he didn't pout, like, you know what I mean. To me, he didn't. He took it.
Yeah.
Took it,
I mean, he was doing a lot. Diving and throwing.
They shut him down.
and-
Yo, yeah, they shut
defense shut
they
him
shut Tyreek Hill down, and
double
but you still see that dude was making plays,
Yeah,
but his receivers weren't.
yeah.
They were not catching.
They're all over him.
He's good, man. He's gonna be good.
Yeah. Plus, I think too, it's like, I think this is a lesson for me, for like corporations, like do right by people. Tom Brady did right by you guys for so long, and you guys were so willing to cut him and let him go.
Yeah.
And he goes to another, and I think he proved his point, which is, it's not about.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you need me.
you need me.
I'm the culture.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
he came there and created a whole new culture
And you got to respect that.
in one season.
Yeah.
Not even, because he had to get them to that point
Right.
in training camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
And the
he had-
Patriots didn't do right by
They
him.
didn't have preseason or anything like that.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
they have time to
You
get
gotta-
right with the receivers.
But I heard that like he made it a point, like when he got on the team, he made them give him every player's phone number so he could reach out to everybody and
He's
talk
a true
to them.
leader,
and,
man. Like
yeah.
the fact that he Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the other guy? Gronk. Like he got these are all the guys that actually, all the guys he brought on were the guys
Fournette.
who help him win the thing.
And he brought on dudes that other teams couldn't handle.
Yeah.
And he found a
Is
way
that
to
true
lead
that
them.
Antonio Brown lived with him?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
wow.
living in like his guest home or something.
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's a leader, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's
And Ndamukong Suh, like
Yeah.
other teams could not handle. He was a problem.
Isn't that crazy? The pregame, they said that the day he walked in, not only did the players pep up, but the staff. This guy has this kind of ability,
Right.
where he, and then when they showed his combine,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
2000, I was
yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
See if you can find that.
See if you can find
From what he was.
Tom Brady's rookie combine.
We ran a faster 40 than Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know. I know.
in high school.
Yeah.
My takeaway from the whole thing was that he didn't wear a mask.
Great Tom Brady.
People were mad about
They
that.
were mad.
People were
Those-
so.
those-
And he had like it looked like, I don't know, somebody like put that in the picture. Like I saw somebody pointed to like the Make America.
Oh, that
Great.
was an old photo.
Oh, okay.
That was old.
Okay.
But they brought it back.
Yeah,
though.
they brought it back up.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's why. Who was I telling that to? Like, I bet you all the players did not care if he was a Trump fan. Like, none of
heck
them
no.
cared.
They got their ring.
Yeah, he got them a ring.
Yeah, when you're winning.
Here we go. Here's Tom Brady at the combine.
Just tall and lanky and slow.
yeah.
Was he even trying to run there?
Yeah.
That was his fastest, bro.
Yeah, he was trying to run.
That's why he got drafted so low, because he didn't look like an athlete. Slow release.
Shucks, when he throws.
Yeah.
This is your greatest of all time.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yo.
But he put the work in.
That's what I'm saying.
the work
Like,
in,
he
man.
found a way to be the greatest.
He got the
can't-
Mamba mentality.
And I
You
think
can't
that's,
measure heart, man.
Yeah.
But that's what it proved, though. Because he if he had stayed with the Patriots, it would have been Bill Belichick.
Right.
He proved it in one season.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going and I'm going to
Yo,
do it.
that's what they say about him. He's a system quarterback.
Right.
You know, he's the Patriot system. He's
Yeah,
a
that's
product
what,
of
that's
this-
what they
their
used
system.
to say.
Yeah.
They ain't saying that no more.
Look at that look at that shuttle run.
I know there was a part where they show his vertical. It was like 6 inches.
This is 2000.
Is it? Yeah.
Was it 2000?
Yeah, he got drafted in 2001, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man, wow.
No agility.
Yeah.
But dude, think about it, to come from that and then find a way,
Yeah.
like through work ethic, because
Through
the
work-
dude's work
And he never
ethic-
really got better than that. It's just
Yeah.
his understanding of the game.
Physically, he didn't get better, but as a quarterback,
he's smart.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, athletically.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, like he was winning in college too. Like he had other quarterbacks that was that looked way better, more athletic than him, and he had to fight. And like I remember, I forgot what bowl it was. They played Alabama. I think it was the Sugar Bowl. They actually put the other kid in, and then he went down like double digits, and then Tom Brady came in and won them the game.
Wow.
In Michigan.
Yeah, I mean,
so he's been
I
battling
think
with
too,
that.
People hate on him because he's good looking and
he's married to a model,
and he kisses his son on the lips.
Yeah,
and because he won a bunch of Super Bowls.
It's also when you always win, people get tired of it. They're like, "Can we please not Tom Brady?"
Like people
again.
hated on Jordan,
but I just didn't like the fact that people were turning this into like the black quarterback versus the white quarterback, and it's about racial pride. Like, well, not everybody, but a lot of the
he's not even all black.
I know, but
really, where was that though?
I saw it all. It was all over Twitter.
Really?
If you ain't on Twitter, you ain't gonna know.
I didn't know that either.
If you ain't on Twitter, you ain't gonna know.
Wait, you do that to Jimmy's life?
I'm on there. No, I'm on there looking for stuff to bring up. I'm looking on there. Look, I'm on there to show y'all.
I don't know why.
I'm on there to show y'all this nonsense. This is what they do to try to convince us why we should care about this outfit. Because people were talking about people were clowning this. A lot of people, even people that I was telling y'all, and I don't want to put it out there, but this jacket's like, what was he wearing? Yeah. But then I saw the tweet come out about this is what is it, Givenchy couture jacket that took over 250 hours to make or something.
They can keep it.
It's like, so now we're supposed to care about it. It's like,
why did you say that?
So even that, like the fact that that's a thing, and then he spent $7 million. Like all these things should show you.
Who spent $7 million?
He did.
The Weeknd did.
For that?
Yeah. No. For the whole production of the Super Bowl.
You can go to H&M and get a $40 jacket that's more fitted and look better than that.
And then remember I was texting y'all and I was like, I really didn't see too much like occult symbology. Mm-hmm. But then I saw the tweets coming in. I was like, oh, I missed it. Because I wasn't paying that close attention. Right. So let me bring this image up. At the very beginning of the performance, did you guys see this?
Yeah, I did.
Where all those people in the choir robes.
The robotic kind of people?
Yeah, but they were like choir. It was a choir. And they were like praising something or it was weird. Like, see?
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Yeah. So it was
weird.
There was some weird.
Some
do you
AI
think they even know?
on.
Do you think when you ever see these type of performances, right, with like celebrity types like him or Lady Gaga, do you think they know the symbolism and what it's tied to, or you think it's just like someone says, "Hey, this is cool," and they just want to
be a part of it?
I think they're more tied to the fact that that's considered art.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think they're even.
I think there are people like
there are some.
Lady Gaga definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
like
her,
a Beyonce definitely.
Yeah, right.
And
I think eventually you get it more, but I think when they first start entering into that displaying those type of imagery, it's more about like, oh, this is what artists is. This is what it means to be artistic. Yeah, look, check out the visual. Get out, like even the suit looked so big on him. It was like, what is this?
Yeah, there's definitely that artistry thing, Jamie, that you were talking about.
That's what entices you down that path,
but
right?
It's crazy how even that whole thing is like, it's this like it gives you a nasty feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like,
who's the chick, the performance artist that they're all obsessed with?
Abramovich.
Marina Abramovich, right? So Marina Abramovich, there's photos of all those people, Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, Jay-Z, with this woman, and they all idolize her and her art, and she does weird stuff like writing things on the wall with period blood and like, like covering children with blood. Covering children with blood and setting them in you know what I'm saying? Like it's weird,
and it's even weirder when you think, what does Jay-Z have in common with like an almost 80-year-old white woman from Europe?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like in terms of I love her art. Because how would they cross paths? You know what I mean?
At them weird eyes wide shut parties.
Yeah. It's like what is going on here? You know?
Yeah.
Because I remember you sent me a link and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, this makes no sense. Is it considered abstract art or something like that?
But then they're doing it's once you cross a certain threshold, it's like, no, this is just weird. Like the fact that at these parties they always have a cake that's shaped like a human being, and then they take a model and put their head where the head would be, and then they eat the cake. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, why are we doing this? Like, this is just,
and it's been going on for a while.
They like stabbing the cake.
It's been going on for a while because somebody pulled up an image, and I think it was in the '60s, and it was a party. And it was just like Eyes Wide Shut. It was all these elites and these princes, and they were all wearing like.
It was at the Rothschild Mansion. Yeah.
I
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're wearing these deer antlers.
Yeah,
and it's like, this is not normal. This is it's not even a costume anymore. It's like more or less like I don't know what it is.
I think the Eyes Wide Shut scene is at that same mansion.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. If I remember reading it, because I was looking, that you go down that Stanley Kubrick rabbit hole, and there's so much symbology.
And that was based on something he said he witnessed.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's weird, but he ended up dead before that movie came out.
Yeah, that is true. Because I think there was supposedly a pedophile scene that he didn't want to take out.
Right, and then
it got even worse.
The studio edited, because he was adamant about nobody touching this film.
Right.
He ends up dying. They take out 30 minutes of this movie that no one's ever seen.
I think it was that little girl was at that party.
Could have been.
Yeah. But anyway, I was going to ask you, since you guys are familiar with this, what is the transition as a celebrity, right? So you're a celebrity, you're hitting it big, a song hits, that song is topping the charts.
We know all about that, right?
No, I'm saying you're at least, you know more than the average person, right? When you're in those executive rooms or whatever it is. Because you get a call like that, you're going to go to the Grammys or wherever it is. How many people are going to push back on symbolism, even if they're, because most of the times, a lot of these people are church-based. They're coming from churches, gospel-based,
artists,
and then you look at what they're tied into, and you're like, how could you not, you know what I mean?
Because I think a lot of times their desire for the opportunity
and the fame
supersedes.
It's idolatry.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally idolatry. Right. It's the definition of idolatry.
Yeah.
Like we can say one thing, but what we're really upholding to is the image of what is good, what is real, what is satisfying, all these things. And then when it comes, it's like, okay, what I was acting like I really believed in, I didn't really believe in.
Yeah.
Right. Because years later, when you do find videos of them, and you go on YouTube and you see satanic music industry and whatever it is, and it's tons of that out there,
But there is, I think a lot of artists do end up struggling with the fact that they know that they made those compromises, and that's why they end up, they end up depressed, they end up on medications, they end up going through these psychotic breaks. Yeah, Katy Perry, I was just about to mention her. You're in my head. Like, she's another one.
She had a huge, pull up her what's it called, Super Bowl halftime show. She did like a huge
yes,
on a back like the Beast.
In fact, Liz was like, because everybody was saying, like, certain people were texting me like, "This is the worst Super Bowl halftime I've ever seen," and she was like, "Nothing's worse than Katy Perry's." And I was like, "Touche." With the giant, wasn't that the one with the big shark?
I don't remember that.
Isn't that where the shark became famous with the dancing shark?
She had like a.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't she riding on like a?
She was riding on a giant golden lion or something like that. Right. And then but it looked so cheesy. And then there was a dancing shark that ended up getting its own Twitter page. Is this the Super Bowl performance here? Yeah.
That's when
no, it's a tiger from the song.
That's when there was people there. Look how much
it's a lion, dude.
Is that a lion?
That's a lion.
Why would it? That's just dumb. The song is "Eye of the Tiger." Why would you be on a lion?
But it's about the symbolism. Come on, man.
It's about they try. Look, what's with the red eyes, yo? That's the same thing as the Weekends.
It's the symbolism.
Oh yeah,
weird stuff. Okay,
it's just weird.
But see, it's art, and then it's okay.
Right.
And you're in that realm of what are you talking about? It's just art.
It's just
But
art.
everything it's funny because art is imagery.
Yeah.
It's an imagery, so it's like, what are you projecting into the world? It's all about what do you think on, you know? Like the Bible says, think on these things.
Right.
Whatever is pure, whatever is lovely. So if what are you thinking on,
Lovely and pure.
you're going to start projecting.
But when did the Super Bowl halftime show become? At what time did that start happening?
That actually is a newer thing.
Yeah.
Because they used to do like boring halftime shows at the Super Bowl. Like marching bands and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think
seriously.
it started getting big to what, like the 90s, right?
Like the late 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even early
I don't
90s.
even know.
Like it was like later 90s that became a thing. I think because look, Pepsi has been the
Started to
sponsor.
sponsor it, yeah.
So they put a bunch of money into sponsoring the halftime show and bringing in big artists. Like, it's these corporate moves that they make to just get brand awareness. You know what I mean? These corporate terms that you hear about. So they pay these artists a bunch of money. Yeah. Let's get a couple comments real quick. Saker said, determination and leadership, mind, and personality is key. He's talking about Tom Brady. Mom said, Marina does what's called spirit cooking. That is true. That is what she does. Spirit cooking is, and we know this from the WikiLeaks emails, that a lot of these politicians go to these spirit cooking parties, and they don't tell the public about it. And I'm not going to go into all of that. You can look up spirit cooking, just Google it and see what that is. But she is openly into that.
Google
ritual.
might suppress that, but
DuckDuckGo it. Go to DuckDuckGo, type in spirit cooking, and see what comes up. Saker said, absolutely, they are aware of it, and Scientology is a big part of it too, and that shows more avoidance. The more we advance in life, you can figure the storytelling of the future and the mind control of the upcoming civilization. Yeah, I think that's what they believe. Yeah.
That's a form of worship, what you're seeing, too.
Yeah, and manipulation as well, like believing that they can control the outcomes of what society is going to do through these rituals, you know.
I think one thing about this halftime show was that it was more like, I don't even think people might realize that people saying it's boring, people saying what it was, that is more like maybe you're not caught up in the spell as much as
that's
you
what
used
I
to
was
be.
thinking.
You
It's
know what I
more
mean?
of the spell has been lifted a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can tell, but it's a great marker because those, like how many of us, John, know people that were like, yo, that was amazing. Liddy.
We didn't say it was you. You know,
We can't hear you.
No, it wasn't him. But John,
you just talked about his
John just
panty
accidentally
dropping, panty drop.
John just accidentally sent us remember when he mistext us?
He got a panty dropper voice.
You didn't see that?
No,
Jake
I
didn't see that.
Good thing he would have called
I was
me.
wondering why Jake didn't say
you didn't
anything.
comment on that.
Jake would be like, we got to
What,
talk.
was that night?
That was that night.
Yeah.
So he's texting us like, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
No,
And
I did say he has a good voice, but
Yeah.
his performance was terrible.
Now I got to go
So
back.
I didn't contradict
But he got a
anything I
panty
said.
dropper voice.
Yeah, so
He do got that panty dropper voice. It's just something I don't say to y'all.
Well, except for now, you just said it.
Yeah, James got that voice too.
He was like, "Oh, I'm about to get roasted."
Whoop.
I put up the thing. I was like packing my bags.
yeah, I was like, busted. Yeah. I'm trying to find exactly what you said.
I said he's got that panty dropper voice.
Yeah, and accidentally sent it to us instead of his friends that he was in the group chat with. And he was trying, how do you delete this?
Oh no, I didn't do that.
Unsend.
I knew.
If that happens,
Right when I sent it, I wrote a
I
message.
just recently sent you guys a text that was supposed to be to Nita.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Because
So did I.
if you're texting multiple things, the one that pops up at the top,
I know.
you know, it messes you up. Yeah, but I agree with you, Jake. I think like people don't realize that for a lot of us, that spell has been lifted. Like just the whole spell of the Super Bowl. Another thing me and John were talking about, like, do y'all remember commercials? Do y'all remember No, I'm saying
Right.
do y'all have any commercials that stand out to you from the Super Bowl?
No,
I didn't watch that much, but not
Yeah.
that I.
they played a lot of the same ones, like repeat.
Serious
I think-
brainwashing.
I think with I'm sorry.
It was because I think the money, nobody wants to pay that money. It's like
Wasn't I just saying that?
Yeah.
I was saying if these companies are still spending all this money on Super Bowl commercials, they're wasting it.
it's like
Because-
five. It's like what is it? $5 million for
30 seconds.
20 seconds or something like that.
But I was telling him, I'm like, because he was like, yo, I don't even remember the commercials like that. I was like, think about it. Every time a commercial comes on, what do?
Pull out,
Pull out your phone and you start looking at something else. You don't pay attention to commercials anymore.
Yeah.
So
Plus YouTube, the algorithm has changed where commercials are at the beginning, in the middle. They're popping up during the. So you're so used to it. and
Yeah.
you're so used to skipping. That
yeah,
you're-
that's what you do. You skip like that commercial's on, but then you just go ahead and what's this right here? Jake from State Farm commercial.
Just a few little visuals of the commercials in general.
Oh, okay. Oh, these are the Super Bowl
Little
commercials.
combo, yeah.
Okay, I did hear about the one.
Is there no audio on this?
I don't have the audio on right now. Yeah, you don't need it.
We just get the visual. I did hear about just from Twitter again, people dragging some commercial with who's the celebrity on the commercial? Oh, it's like a Jeep commercial
Oh yeah, Bruce.
with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone was saying it was terrible.
Yeah, it was. I
actually
saw the
that's the only one I
commercial
saw.
Okay,
because I saw
they
it.
probably kept playing it.
I didn't see it then, but I saw it online
Oh,
because
okay.
I heard about that too. And
I didn't see.
yeah,
I didn't see it either.
you didn't see it, Jamie?
No, I didn't
saw
see
it.
it. Let's see if we can pull that up. Maybe we can watch.
It's kind of
that
long.
one.
They kept
Is it
on-
long?
Yeah,
a
it was
long
kinda
commercial.
long.
Yeah.
Yo, that's how you know they really trying to program you.
It was like the whole commercial was like that was it, and then went back to
2-minute commercial.
Yeah, I know.
That's like 20 million right there.
And you see how they're like trying to play off of like the
Working
you
American.
Patch.
American, yeah. Like,
He's got on
He's the boss.
but basically, it's about like common ground and
Meanwhile, he lives
The
in a
bottom one.
$22 million mansion in New Jersey.
That dude is a Trump hater.
I mean, who isn't? Check your plug, Rach. It sounds like we're not getting a full. Yeah.
yeah.
Try that one on that side. Pull it out a little bit.
No?
Pull it up a little bit while it's playing. See if it comes clear. Pull it up.
Pull it up.
No, that's not working. All right, it's fine.
What's going on today? Yeah, but it's like
Why don't I remember this commercial?
I didn't see it.
basically it's like trying to say there's like common ground that we need to find, and you know it's a
Now,
Now, yeah.
it's a bad attempt at unity,
Right, right.
like that false unity.
Everyone should be unified now that we have what we want.
Yep.
stop this.
the Great Awakening.
Yeah, the Great Awakening.
Yeah, the
Right.
Great Awakening.
But talking about art and how that started to influence culture and society, it comes from the Renaissance movement, which you were talking about with me earlier, like, and how that all played into, what you wanted to talk.
I was
about.
talking about enlightenment,
Oh,
but
the square's back.
Squares back.
but yeah, there is that Renaissance and the connection with Renaissance to like the Reformation.
Right.
So in a sense, yeah, like in that way, you had Martin Luther. The Renaissance were kind of like two things that like coexisted, and I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is like just this whole secular thing, right? Where people try to put a mask over that this is what God does, but it's in the guise of no, it's science.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that it's always in a time of greater grace where things abound. That's why like Western civilization abounded so much during the 15, 16, 1700s, 18, abounded so much in technology because of grace and because of the Bible.
Right.
And those, even if you just have that underlying thing, it creates a civilization where things start to come to life. And a lot of people I don't think they make that connection in history, but when you look at it, there's always like, yeah, the Renaissance, but you had the Reformation. And that was huge in terms of like, okay, now we're not subservient to the church and penance and all this stuff. It's by faith.
Right.
So we got, it's actually by faith.
Right.
This is not breakthrough stuff, but at that time it was because nobody could read the Bible.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're just going by what this Roman Catholic Church is saying.
Right.
But when that shifts, and that's what happened with Martin Luther, and then you had the Calvinist movement and the Puritans that came off of that, and it just like the Bible started becoming more prevalent. People started reading the Bible. So then you had the Puritan movement that came over to America. Mm-hmm. Right. And with that, you had like they came over and they struggled, and that kind of died out. And that's where you start to have the Enlightenment era, right? But that started in Europe, but it came over, of course, to America. Mm-hmm. So in the Enlightenment era was like 1715 to, they say 1715 to like 1789, but it really was into the 1800s. They changed like what it's called.
What, like New Age?
No, Enlightenment is like reason.
Like philosophy.
Like philosophy, yeah.
Right.
Voltaire was a huge one, everybody. But it's funny how like it started, but then you had this great awakening that started like in the late 1730s. Mm-hmm. And when you look at like awakening, the Enlightenment, it's like in response to what's dead.
Right.
Right. So you had a lot of people, like especially in America, the Puritan movement, all this stuff. What happens is that you get these people who get stuck in their ways. So a big thing like with the Great Awakening, it started in like the Massachusetts era, which is the Puritan area, right? Yeah. And these churches were becoming really dead. And one of the biggest guys that came out of that was this guy named Jonathan Edwards. And he said, like, when he became, when he was given his grandfather's church, he said, this church is a bunch of dry bones. Mm. And the people there, it was a time where it was like, they were even like questioning, well, what do we do? Because if we don't allow people to be members, we're not going to have no money.
Right.
But, and then what really even equates your membership? Like, you have to have an experience with God.
Is this Edwards?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you have to have like this experience with God, or your conversion experience. But a lot of people don't have that. It was more like, well, my parents did it, so I'm doing it. And it became like antiquated. It became like traditional, and there's nothing really, no meaning behind it. Just something you do. You go to church. That was one of his biggest sermons, which is sinners, and then I can't read it from here, but angry God. But what he was doing was basically bringing life back to this, like, this is why. And they're Calvinists, so I don't know what people like. One thing with Calvinists is that they believe that, like, your destiny is set, and if you're a sinner, you were born a sinner. And, if you're...
And a lot of that still exists today. People believe that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny because God doesn't hold that against you to start a movement. And that's what people don't understand. Like, all you got to do is move in some truth, and then things start to change, right? So you had people like John Edwards and George, what's his name, Whitefield, who they started like this Great Awakening movement. But you got to look at the counterfeit, which is Enlightenment, right? And it's funny because when you go back, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. When you go back and look at Enlightenment, Enlightenment started 1715. It was said to be rooted in reasoning, practicality, science, equality, liberty, freedom, right? But when you look at it, the issue is, what is it based off of? You can't just throw words out without having a foundation or a basis, right? Or where was the starting point?
I feel like it's funny because, like, they call that the Enlightenment period, but wasn't that going on throughout the centuries though? Like,
it was, but they were going back to like reasoning, right? Like, and dude, this was with the like hierarchy where it started, like the more of the elite. So they get together. They don't got nothing else to do, right? They're not the working class, so they're coming together and they're philosophizing.
What's that say right there?
At least 6 ideas came to punctuate American Enlightenment thinking. So this is even kind of like a little bit later on in how it affects America.
Okay.
But so deism, liberalism, republicanism, conservatism, toleration, and scientific progress. Like Jake said, just like a whole bunch of words.
Okay, so the Enlightenment refers to more of what happened in America then.
Well, it's actually what happened in Europe.
Okay.
But it came over to America.
Because I'm thinking, even like when you look at Socrates, Plato, all that stuff, they were. You know,
it was philosophy, yeah.
Yeah, but it was more of reasoning things out as well. And,
and so you got to even look at it as like no emotion versus emotion.
Okay.
Emotion bad, logic good.
Okay.
Which is not true.
Right.
Right. So it's
sometimes it's good.
No, you got to have a balance.
Right.
You always got to have a balance. Right. You should be, because it's your heart that has the lead. It's your heart. And that's what like the Great Awakening was, going back into it. Religion had become so staunch and cold and dry.
Yeah,
there was no emotion. There was no passion.
Right.
So you had people that were now coming with this passion.
Right.
You know, that were bringing life back into it, and people were watching them.
Was the Bible still in Latin at that time?
No, not at that time. Okay. That was like 15, like. 1400s.
That's probably what it was too. Like you said, like, the elite had access to information that most people were illiterate and probably couldn't read or anything like that. So, and that's the beginning of the industrial age too, where technology, they were seeing technology and machinery coming in. So they probably did feel enlightened.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like they make the reason based off of the total wrong things, right?
So pull this up, John. The little American sort of 6 ideas that I read.
Yeah.
I read that because all this ties in, like he just said, into like our direct constitution and how like the whole country here was founded, and supposedly kind of what we're still operating off of today. But this right here says. So the Enlightenment, a European intellectual movement of the 17th and 18th centuries in which ideas concerning God, reason, nature, and humanity were synthesized into a worldview that gained wide assent in the West and that instigated revolutionary developments in art, philosophy, and politics. And then the goals of rational humanity were considered to be knowledge, freedom, and happiness. So, like, that's the Constitution, you know?
Right, but see, that's where the trick is. Because it's really not enlightenment. It's just a twist.
Right.
It's like almost.
Progressivism wants to steal it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's why I titled
that's the sneaky
the
stuff.
Great Awakening.
Right.
Because it's like, it's this new version
what
of
she just read
hijack it.
Is hijacked. Because they're saying something, but it's not necessarily all true.
Right.
Right? Because, the founding fathers were, not all of them, but there were like, Jefferson, especially Benjamin Franklin.
Right.
There were a few that were influenced by the Enlightenment movement, right? But what I'm saying is that the Enlightenment movement was even influenced by God. Right. But it wasn't, but it went a different way. And that's why you have like progressivism. So, and you have people who, just like with Christianity, you have people who think too much, who think things out too much, right? So it was all about thought. It was all about reasoning things out. And yeah, that makes sense. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But there was a lot of it going on, and there was a lot of it going in different directions. So you have a lot of atheists that use the Enlightenment because what stemmed from it was like humanism, secularism, a lot of these isms.
Yeah, just the worship of science
Yeah,
in general.
deism.
Yeah.
Right? Deism was like, God, I believe there's a God, but I don't believe that God created, basically it's like God created the earth, but he has nothing to do with it. Right? Man has to deal with it. And also deism doesn't have to do, like, Jesus is not about, Jesus was just a philosopher, right? And I'm being very vague with this stuff, so whoever knows, people might know more than me, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying to show what's going on here. So,
real quick, let me just give a couple of the Young Lion TV page. There was Shauna was in there. She said, "Hey guys." Greg Sally Burns said, "Sally, hi everyone." And Stan said, "Our stream was coming from Canada." Simone Chang, "I don't think we got any of the U.S. commercials. I think that's why they repeated. But then again, I don't know."
Oh,
So y'all was watching on some stream. Okay.
fire stick.
Okay.
So here's something interesting. Enlightenment were they were philosophers that were both like monarchy idealist, like Napoleon later on, and then also anti-monarchist. So like you can't even equate, because a lot of people, especially progressive, want to act like Enlightenment era had nothing to do with, it was about anti-monarchy. Right. That's where you got like the French Revolutionary War. That wasn't like the American Revolutionary War.
Right.
That was something that was nasty and dirty and caused a lot of destruction. Right. American Revolutionary War was not the same because it wasn't the same ideas. And that's why we have to understand that, because then it's just like, oh yeah, revolutions all over the world. Like, you know what I mean? This is where it comes from. But that's not the case. So you had people like even Voltaire, who was like one of the leading Enlightenment figures, who thought that England was, he admired England's monarchy and ideas. And then you had another Enlightenment guy, Thomas Hobbes. He was like a totalitarian. Yes, you say it.
Totalitarianist.
Yeah, thinker. He was a thinker, and he believed in absolute monarchy.
Right.
So, like, what does that mean? Basically, like, there's a lot of people who don't reason things out, who are too emotional. So you need to have somebody over them that's going to be able to do everything for them, to be the greatest reasoner or greatest thinker. In a way, he's not totally wrong.
Kind of like, that's what Edward Bernays' philosophy was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That there needs to be an elite class that makes all the decisions and let people just kind of do what they do.
The Templars.
That's Satan.
Yeah.
He's like, you do it, I'll
right.
I'll think for you.
Yeah.
You're too dumb and emotional to make, irrational to make decisions.
This is all reminding me of Assassin's Creed, because it starts off in the Enlightenment. And the Templars are like basically doing what Jake said, and then the next one like comes to America, and it's like Ben Franklin, all them, like Ben Franklin trying to stop it. Yeah. But it's like all those other guys like creating this Templarish.
It's so funny when they like paint this picture of Ben Franklin as like a certain thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just like reading a lot of stuff, it was both sides to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Another thing was like many who believed this, they believed in order to have true reason, you have to have someone with absolute power that could impose reason on the masses, because many people are incapable of being reasonable. It is the self-affirming idea that defines enlightenment, right? And what it means to be an individual. So it's not necessarily untrue, because if you think about Christianity, actually, we're not supposed to reason stuff out.
Right.
You know, to a certain extent. I mean, we can't be stupid. But what I'm saying is that we're supposed to trust in God. In faith, he's our king, and he's actually the reasoner. Because he's like, literally, when you look at it, he's our ruler, our king, he's our judge, and he's our lawgiver. So in order to discern law in the right way, you have to trust in him. In order to judge in the right way, you got to trust in him. In order to rule in the right way, you got to trust in him. So he's what real government is about. And that's what the awakening started to awaken in the people, right? So going back to that, you had this awakening that's going on, that's kind of in tangent with the Enlightenment. Right. So you see how like people will twist that with the revolution. Oh no, it was all about the Enlightenment, but it wasn't really true. Even in the Enlightenment, it was only like a lot of elite that were doing it, like Benjamin Franklin. He was a deist, right? And even with him, he admired, what's his name? George Whitefield, or Whitfield, however you want to say his name. Whitefield, who, this guy, George Whitefield, he would have like 25,000 people that he was preaching to. They didn't have mics back then. Right, you know what I mean? Right. Right. He's preaching to 25,000 people. And so this was stuff that like people would take notice of, you know, and especially like Benjamin Franklin, he wrote about him. But just to go back, I'm going to read a little bit about this. It says, people would preach and worship for hours and hours. The lower and working class were being affected the most. Revivalism taught people, and this is the revivalism of that era, taught people that they could be bold when confronting religious authorities, and that churches weren't living up to the believers' expectations. The people could break off and form new ones. Colonists came to realize that political power did not reside in the hands of English monarchs. The English monarch, but in their own hands, in their own will for self-governance considered in the Declaration of Independence. So it was the idea of governing under God, and how they were seeing like these ideas in the Bible about how, oh, we're supposed to be governing ourselves under God, right? These things started to become more evident, right? It was about equality and how in God there's no partiality, right? So it was about true equality in him. There's no partiality, right? Not just like we're just all equal because we're just all equal and we got to make people equal. No, under God, there's no partiality, but he sees it that way. So we have to see it in the way he sees it. Right. And people were starting to awaken to these ideas of who God really was, right? So you started to see revival start breaking out, and people got to understand, like at that time, colonies, even whole colonies, which you could say were like the states at the time, well, became the states. They were like governed by they were state religions. Like in Massachusetts, you had like, I forget what it called. It was changed from Puritan, but it was the same thing, but just another name. In that area, in Virginia, it was like the Church of England. You had the Anglican Church, right? So you had these whole regions. They were taxed. Like if you weren't a part of that church, you were taxed money. You still had to pay into their church. Wow. You know what I mean? Right. You still had like the Quakers. They were taxed because they were Quakers. Like they were really messed up in Pennsylvania. So there was that's when they did, and we talked a little bit about this before, like when they did the First Amendment and all that, and the separation between church and state, which isn't exactly what they say now, that was to keep it from being a governing force, because I'm talking about religion being a governing force where you tax people if they have to be upholding to it, because it makes it dead. It dries it out.
Well, that was already happening in Europe anyway. All of the the kings were under the Vatican.
Yeah, and the Great Awakening was happening in England too.
Right.
Like it started to change over there too.
They just weren't awakening the blacks that they had enslaved at the time. You know,
Well,
that wasn't included.
Well, there was a lot of that happening, because then you got the Second Great Awakening, and that happened after America became America,
right,
in like the 1790s, and that was like even longer. Like that spanned from like the 1790s all the way up to like the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. And in that that's where women started preaching. They started seeing things in a different way. Like, oh, women need to preach now. That's where slavery started. They started to really contest slavery. Mm-hmm. So many things came out of that Second Great Awakening to change people's ideas of what we're doing. Right? It's crazy how it actually, like one of the stories of how it started I was reading was that this guy went to Kentucky, and at that time, Kentucky was like the place where all the murderers and the horse thieves would go to get away. It was like a lawless place. It was the worst place in America at that time. It was like a frontier land, which is funny.
So all the Westerns are based off of Kentucky.
Yeah. It was like before there was the Wild West, there was Kentucky, right? And he went there, and it became the most, after they had this revival, and it became the most moral place in the country.
So don't you think that that's what people believe that they're trying to do now with all of this wokeness and all of this, like trying to change, like they're trying to force that new wave of like
enlightenment,
how to enlighten everyone into these new ideas that we have.
I do. I believe they believe that that's the right way.
It's the moral way to move forward as a society.
Yeah, and I think that's the trick. Like with what the enemy does, it's like he knows people are waking up. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I got to get in front of this. I got to create something that's opposite of this. It's going to contend with that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what the Enlightenment was in the Great Awakening. Mm-hmm. It was something that contended. And now, and look at how people will take that. And Harvard professors write about the Enlightenment, and they take everything that they like and just put it
into the progressive box.
Yo, it's so crazy. And they discount America's history and take out everything else that they don't want to look at just so they can show this is what happened. Right. You know? And that's what a lot of people do. This is why
things changed. This is why, because people were progressives. Yeah.
Right. And then you look at like Thomas Jefferson.
What's this right here? Trump's Capitol riot gives Biden a rare opportunity to, what does that say?
Rebuild America's moral authority.
Yeah. See, but based off of what morals? Like that's the problem.
When during the Super Bowl, back to the Super Bowl, they booed Biden's little speech thing that he had.
I heard about that.
Yeah, well, it was like he said, "Let's do a moment of silence," and everyone just started cheering in opposition and booing. So it was like,
wow, yeah, because it's it's a false unity that he's trying to create.
I think people are starting to see it. People are the spell isn't working, so people are like, "Yo, y'all are trying to play us." You know what I mean? Like people feel that now.
But the thing is, like, why isn't it working? It's not because we're talking about stuff. It's because people are praying. Yeah. There's been more prayer now than there has been in years. Yeah. Because of what has been going on in this country. People, not just in this country, all over the world, people are praying. Prayer matters. You know, it's about emotion. Because it creates a fire. It's passion, right? People fought for America because the passion that was birthed in these revivalist movements all over America, and it goes into the way you live your life, and like people like Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, like these guys were. Thomas Jefferson was a little more, I guess you say, religious, but then Benjamin Franklin, he was more of a deist. I wouldn't really say Thomas Jefferson was a deist, but he did like, he didn't believe Jesus was the Son of God. Like, so like you can't say, but it wasn't like cut and dry. That's what I'm saying. Like people, Enlightenment, this is what it was. It's not cut, even Benjamin Franklin, it's not cut and dry. And that's what people don't understand. Like, no, there's mixture. There's a mixture of ideas. You You know what I mean? Always there's people who got mixture of ideas going on. And a lot of times, there's people who are like, this is what it is. And then there's people over here, no, this is what it is. But there's a lot of people in the middle, you know? And when we look at history, I think people are just looking for bad guys and good guys, you know what I mean? And not seeing like, no, there was a whole mixture of stuff going on. And just because, like Trump, look at it, just because he wasn't the character that you wanted, but and he wasn't the idea that people wanted, but he had a lot of good stuff that he stood for. Mm-hmm. He had a lot of good stuff. Yeah, there was some mixture, but he upheld a lot that was needed for the time. Right. You know, when you look at Biden, like, and I'm not saying this to be biased, but I don't see anything. I see a lot of acting. I see a lot of faking, but you got to look at what he's done. What has he done? Right. Everything he's signed has been a detriment to us.
And what has he stood for? Everything he stands for is just whatever
to please.
Yeah, to please the mob of you know, whatever they say. You know?
Yeah. So I think there's this thing like, you know, the secularism, and with Christianity, you see this like, oh no, that's secular. Yeah, I'm not. I don't deal with that. That's secular. Right. And they don't realize that we're supposed to go into the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if that's, you don't deal with that, then that means that's not, nothing there is redeemable. You know what I mean? That means it's all death and hell and nothing there is good. When that's not true, there's mixture there. Just like there's mixture in the church. Yeah. Because how many people go to church can tell you there's a lot of fake hypocrisy, craziness going on in the church. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like there becomes this good, bad, these polarizing things when really you got to see it the way God sees it. And he sees there's redeemable stuff there. Like even with a Biden, there's redeemable stuff there. But people got to make the choice, of course. You know what I mean? But like songs, like a song, this song is secular, you know, but really, what are they talking about? Right. What are the ideas? What's redeemable in that song that you can bring back and reconcile? Yeah, this stuff we don't need, but this is good. Right. You know, and I think people are just polarizing things so much that they don't see the in-between. You know, they don't see what's good and leave the bad. It's like when you eat, or when you're breaking down animal or whatever, when you're even with grain, you know what I mean? When you're with wheat, you gotta take out the grains, the little kernels, right? You know what I mean, and take the chaff away, right? You know what I mean? You're not gonna eat the chaff. You gotta get what is nutrients, what's good for your body, what's nutritious, what's good for your body, and what is good to even eat. Right. The rest of the stuff, we don't need that. You know what I mean? But we might eat it if we think, I don't know no difference. Right. You know what I mean? So it just seems like we're in that place right now where realizing we got to stop polarizing things. You know what I mean? This, that, history. Yeah. And
I mean, just in general, I've been trying to say that for the last few weeks. It's like this whole, the left is my enemy or the right is my enemy, you know, like this whole polarized, either you're some crazy progressive liberal Antifa member or you're some crazy red hat MAGA, you know, storming the Capitol guy. It's like there's no nuance there. It's like you're either seen as this or that. And if you show any of the signs of either, you're automatically pushed all the way to the extreme of that polarization.
But that only works when you don't experience it. When you experience it, then you become open to it. You know, it's like racism starts to break down when people start to open themselves up to the other race. You know, or open yourself up to cultures that you don't really understand. You can only hold those cultural ideas of other people because you think your culture is better when you see it, but you don't want to have no part of it.
Right.
But when you start to like, even just food, let me try. I'll try that.
Right.
You know, it was funny. My wife, she tried Indian food for the first time, like the other day.
For
I
the
was cracking.
first time,
first
ever?
time, dude. She fought me so long on Indian food. She fought me so long. So she tried it the other day, and she was like, "Oh, it's not bad."
Yeah.
You know, and it's just funny, like, and I'm like, "Oh,
What she
breaking
eat?
down no cultural berries, huh?"
What she eat?
What did she eat?
Tandoori chicken.
Probably tandoori or tiki masala.
She ate some kind of chicken. I don't even remember what it was called. I never even heard of it before. It was some kind of chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was upholding to like, no, it smells weird, you know.
Right.
But when she let that down, oh, it's not that bad. And then now she's willing to go a little further. She's willing to go a little further. Well, no, it wasn't not that bad. It was actually good.
Bring
you
on
know?
James's curry.
But it's a real thing. Like
Yeah.
I remember with Christmas. Remember when we were over at my house and Caitlin came with her boyfriend. And my mom had brought them pasteles, right? And, we was tearing them things up, and then we looked over at Caitlin's plate, and that joint was. She
like
had walked away, and that
had
joint,
like one bite.
she took one bite out of that thing,
And then she left.
And like a normal person would be like, "Damn, like yo, you wasted that. Them things is good."
Sure.
But for someone who's never had that before, the smell's weird, the texture is weird. Like you're not gonna.
It looks weird.
Yeah, it looks weird. Like
Yeah,
guys-
your
you
dad
guys
used
are
to call it a
talking
poop
Poop in the sock.
Poop in the sock.
Talking
Yeah.
about the pasteles that I never got.
Not those ones. It was the one before those ones, but you didn't get either one, so I don't know.
All right, Saker has a comment. But, brother, the more these people got to know when science got involved too much in our life, instead of the church, we became with our beliefs and our mind set about God, a jock to them. And now you start questioning, do these politicians actually believe in God and signs all around us and deep conscious?
Yeah, but the point is, like, we got to take the responsibility.
Yeah.
Like they realized we can't see right now. We're in the point of let's give it all over to we need somebody to do it for us because we don't want to do it for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're at the point where like that's where they're at, but we need to take that responsibility back.
But don't you think part of that came from what I would say? We started saying the church doesn't need to be in politics.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the televangelist, the revival movement, which is all good and everything, but it almost made it look like let the politicians do what they do and we'll do what we do.
Right.
And we never got involved, so we never could see or enlighten the people what was happening, because it's almost like you take care of that, I'll take care of this, and then come back and find out that they haven't done anything, or what they're doing is nothing close to what you thought they were going to do.
Right.
So it's almost like a surprise.
Or they promised to do.
You know? Yeah, or they promised to do.
Yeah, but that's because we gave it up.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
the church almost like said, we're not going to get involved in that.
Well, it's like what he was just saying, like that's secular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what God wants. You know what I mean? We're the church. You come to the church, and the church, God will provide. You know,
Right,
it's like God's in control. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Let's
meanwhile,
just build bigger churches.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we give reign of our whole nation over to whoever.
Yeah. I mean, you have extremes. Like, that's not as extreme as, like, the Jehovah's Witness that don't want to have nothing to do in their doctrine about politics, or, like, the Quakers or Mennonites.
But we
you know what I
started
mean?
copying some of that, too. I mean, you'll only see it when, you know, the political season begin. You'll see certain politicians in certain districts going to churches to sort of, and it happens on both sides, on the left and the right, where you see them getting involved there. You know what I mean? They're trying to get the audience to, the congregation to vote their way or whatever it is.
Right.
Right.
You know, but for a long time, a lot of Christians, including myself, felt like, I don't want to get involved in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and in a sense,
Even on a township level is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like local level.
yeah, the local level is the most important level.
Right.
The only thing we've all been brainwashed into only paying attention to the president. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that you see even with like the Mennonite communities, the Orthodox Jew communities, like there is, like you said, the mixture of there is something to that of like not caring so much about what your political leaders are doing and establishing a community based in the principles of God. You know what I mean? Based in that, so that it can't be infiltrated by all of these, you know,
right. But you can't do it in fear.
Yeah,
because then if you do it in fear, you cut yourself off from the world.
And not only that, you can't totally disengage from it because they could pass legislation tomorrow that could wipe out your whole community. Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they could do that.
Right. And we're operating under the law of the land, too. So,
like Joe Biden did to those pipeline workers.
Pipeline workers.
Well, that's what they did with New York governor. What's his name?
Yeah, Cuomo.
Yeah, with
the Orthodox Jew community. They were out there protesting because he shut down all their synagogues.
And then you heard about California, right?
No, what happened?
It went to Supreme Court because they were trying to keep them from gathering.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
two churches fought it, and if they would have like upheld it, they would have had to do jail time. You know, that's how bad it is. But they, the Supreme Court agreed, but it was like still like they agreed to like 25%, and there's no singing. Like you can't.
Yeah, you're not allowed to sing.
Yeah, like really. Come on. So,
and then Gavin Newsom is sitting in the restaurant with his buddies.
What's this right here? Read that quick, Rach.
This, I think, is what Jake is talking about, but it says divided court allows indoor worship services to resume in California.
Okay, but then if you read into it, it probably talks about the capacity and all that. But you can go to the Super Bowl, you know what I mean, and cheer and yell.
And 20,000 people can attend.
It's 20,000 people. It's just
because they got masks on.
Do they? They was. What was the? I saw some people tweeting at the someone. I think it was the mayor of Tampa who was getting on people about wearing masks, and then there was a picture of her not wearing a mask in the stands.
Always happens.
It happens
they get caught all the time.
Yeah, it happens every time. But speaking of what we're talking about now and the wokeness and the hijacking of the awakening and moving into
it's the awakening, but with the internet, a lot of people aren't really woke. They're just regurgitating what they see.
What they see, right? So I wanted to show y'all this article because we know there's this huge movement. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but there's this huge movement going on right now to emasculate men, whether it's through like just toxic masculinity ads and men are the problem and men need to be, you know. Women can do whatever. Men get all these things that's being pushed on young men now, where men are not performing at the level that they should be. Right. So they find out that a lot of these universities, a lot of these organizations that are pushing this narrative are funded by, you know who, the number one people trying to subvert.
Soros?
No, not him. The other number one people trying to subvert this country. Right
China?
Now. Yes, right. So then there's this article that I saw.
Just go down the list
the other day.
It's short,
and this is what's going on in China right now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
China promotes education drive to make boys more manly. And it's like this whole like education thing that they're putting in the schools to promote. Like really masculine boys, really manly boys.
Yeah. You know aren't they like they're doing like genetics modification, genetic modification?
Yeah, they're doing genetic modification on humans to try to create super soldiers.
Yeah.
But aren't they doing that in response to what they did in the 80s with the one child per family rule, right? They kept boys, but they focused on education. So it's like almost like they didn't prepare or they didn't think that there would be a time when they would need to build a society. So now they have to like almost like up it to like we need more manly.
Right.
So they went to this. I think it was just one child per family, and it was like people preferred males.
Dude, there was massive graves where they were dumping.
Dude, I saw.
We talked about that on here before.
Right. It had a long-term effect.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, boys can't find wives now.
Right.
They're
so many of
struggling.
them. I mean, what did it do to them mentally, physically? You know. They're not going to say that part. That's never tied into the study.
Right.
You know.
Remember when everybody was like adopting kids from China?
Yeah.
That stemmed from the one child law.
Yeah, so if you're going to do a report or something like that, why would you not mention that to show the flaw or what got them there? You know,
because it would make China look bad.
Right.
Yo, but back to that though, right? They're pushing masculinity in China. Conspiracy. Do you think they're promoting all this toxic masculine?
That's exactly what I just said.
Conspiracy, obviously.
That's what I just said. But all of this push for toxic masculinity, all this stuff being pushed as education in this country is being funded by a lot of Chinese organizations.
And why? Just so they can. They want to win. They're like, we're going to get them eventually. Right. Any way we can.
There's proof.
Yeah. Do the research. Like, dude, they've found out that a lot of these professors are taking money from China. Mm-hmm. A lot of these college professors. A lot of corporations. Hollywood, so it's deeply embedded in a way where they can force their agenda on the youth.
The philosophy.
Yeah, their
philosophy. They play that slow game, boy.
Yeah, it's the long game.
They play it.
And they're doing it all over the world.
Play that slow game, but they don't know how to play it like God. No. That's the thing. All that mind, all those mind games and intellect.
And then you get something like this. Like I said, Rachel knows what this is. This was on TikTok. Let me see if we get some volume. Boom. You unmute me real quick.
So you are a transgender boy. You know what that means?
So you were born a girl, but you feel like a boy, right? That kind of means you're transgender. Okay? And that's okay, but that's just the term for it. Do you like doing quiet girly activities, or do you like jumping around and being crazy and tackling everybody?
Boy activities.
Boy activities.
So you are a transgender boy. You know what
It's like they're convincing the child.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I mean, they've all been doing that with these kids. Those kids, you can't. As a kid, you don't. How would you know? These parents are grooming their kids.
But look at how they're putting it up.
That's grooming. That is grooming.
Because they're trying to show, look how virtuous
I am. First of all, this person has to do that with their because look at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at them.
Right.
What? What do you mean? Look at them.
They're transgender.
The one in the video.
Yeah. What?
Do I have to show this again?
Yeah, you can barely see it though. Tell. You can't tell because it's small.
Yeah, make it full screen. I mean, you can look. You can tell.
That's just the term for it. Do you like doing?
Oh, that was it. Oh, okay. Yeah. I couldn't tell.
You thought it was the voice.
I thought the voice was
a voiceover or something.
No, I thought the voice was coming from somebody behind from the camera. Like you can't tell from
far. Which one is mine? It's a little loud.
It's loud. You're this one.
Oh, that makes it
better.
Even.
Yeah.
That makes it even more understandable. Like, I got to prove myself, and I'm gonna prove myself through you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. If you look at like government in the Bible, it's always like the number 12 and then 3. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Like again, the 3 branches of government, and it's always about like what you join together and then what you birth, like generationally, So like in order to like set that thing, you have to birth it, because that's what it's gonna die. If you don't, you can join together with somebody, but if you don't have life that comes from that, it's gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So you have to. That 3 has to do with what you birth. It has to do with that next generation that's gonna uphold that thing, and that's what people do. Like that's what you see right there. Like they're trying to continue that.
And just to keep along that path, let me show you this thing. I sent y'all the Cardi B thing, right?
That is disgusting.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Okay, I won't play that. But I will play.
Ew.
The Cardi B.
I will play this other thing that Rachel sent me that I thought was just wonderful. All right, pull this up, John. Why don't I have any sound? Oh.
Instagram, I love you so much. Thank you so much for keeping me happy, for keeping me alive. Thank you. I'm going to continue to listen to you. You deserve all the space in the world to breathe, expand and contract, and give me life.
Who is this?
This is Lizzo.
I thought so. Yeah.
So she's supposed to be convincing us that she's thanking her fat.
It's crazy because just think about the idolatry. Like we thank God, right? Everything she's saying. Thank you for giving me life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to you. That's all stuff we should be saying to God.
And she literally says in the caption, just so people don't think it's out of context, I started talking to my belly this year, blowing her kisses and showering her with praises. I used to want to cut my stomach off. I hated it so much, but it's literally me. I am learning to radically love every part of myself, even if it means talking to myself every morning. This is your sign to love on yourself today.
Yeah. So it's a twisting of love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, I'm going to film this so that you see, you know what I mean, what I'm doing.
So you see my virtue.
Right.
Not only that, but she's about to get a whole lot of worship and affirmation that she's doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So it gets to make her feel good too.
But it also then, that becomes another affirmation for other people like her that are struggling with the same things, but it just keeps them in that place and doesn't allow them.
Until the doctor tells her that she needs to lose
weight. It's an excuse to stay like that.
So, she's telling me I should quit keto and start talking about
That's
belly.
what she's... Don't you listen to that, bro. Don't you listen to that. Because you was the one woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't breathe. So don't let those lies get to you, because that's where those lies leave you.
It was a joke.
I know, but I'm just...
Eventually, you're going to have to face your lies.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's perfect, because when this train stops and she gets off and there's no more Twitter, no, and that's irrelevant,
right?
And she's stuck like that, and it's just unhealthy.
Yeah,
you're just unhealthy.
Yeah.
Then the depression comes right back, but it's 3 times as worse,
right?
Because
now she can't post something to get a bunch of likes,
right?
To keep her going, right. You know.
It's crazy because, like, man, it sucks because God is so good and people don't know it, and it just hits me. I feel so bad because if people would know how good God is, he takes that all away. And when you look at like fake Christianity, it's like we got to figure things out when that's not true.
Yeah.
You know, like literally people are shaming me. I feel ashamed. But then we don't give ourselves back our stability or pride in a way, or
security.
Yeah, there you go. God does that. We just put our faith in him to do it. Mm-hmm. And we got to actually be in our shame. But he starts to, and what is shame? Shame is loss, right? Mm-hmm. Shame is loss. So what are we doing? He teaches us how to process our emotional feelings and our losses through faith.
Right.
So that we can uphold him in our lives. And then we learn how to like reconcile things in the right way. Like he was showing me, that's what like even the apostolic is about. Because it's called the sent ones. But it's funny because like in order to be a sent one and to be a sent one, it's like the commander has to send you, right?
Right.
But in order to be a sent one, you got to be in the army and actually be upholding to the commander.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're not, then you're rogue and you're doing your own thing. And that's what's happening. So now you got to make idols to yourself so that you can feel okay about doing your own thing. That's like, it's funny because like if you're not upholding to the commander, because this is a war, right? You're not upholding to the commander. What happens? You go rogue. You get caught up on the other side. You start fighting for the other side because you realize I got to, or else I'm going to lose, right? And then you're going to lose anyway in the long run.
Right.
But in order for us to be able to process all these things that are going on in our life, it's so simple, man. It's just about trusting in God. You know, we're talking about how like the whole New Testament, not the whole, but the majority of the New Testament is written by Paul, and it's written about Paul he's in his chains as he's writing these letters to the church that spans the test of time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that we could receive them almost 2,000 years later, so that we can uphold it. It's all about faith.
Right.
You know, the just shall live by faith.
Quick couple comments from YouTube. Amber said, love Jake and those numbers. That's hilarious because Jake be breaking down some numbers, boy. Like it's so when you get into numbers and understanding how they break down dimensionally, it's like, you know, remember we were talking about 369 and all that stuff, and it's an insight into the infiniteness of God.
Yeah.
And then she said, would you guys label yourselves as woke?
Yeah. We were just talking about that, so
no, that's probably why she asked. Yeah. But I don't. First of all, I would say no, because for one, I hate jumping on trendy things like that. I hate being a follower. So even to say like, you know, it's just like it has no meaning. It's frivolous. It's just something that is a hashtag movement that anyone can post up on Twitter. It's like the black box on Instagram thing. Like, to me, it's empty, and it's something to virtue signal like you have some moral high ground that you don't really have. So I don't subscribe to that concept of woke. And plus, I feel like it's a hijacked term, and the term woke gives the sense of a completed work, which is something that you never are. So to say you're woke doesn't leave any room for growth or continuing that. It's a continual awakening.
We're definitely waking up.
Right. It's something where you realize that you've been sleeping on a lot of things, and you're constantly waking up to what those things are. And it's a never-ending battle, because there's so many things that we've been programmed into being asleep with, and we're learning it more and more. And that's the thing. Like, as we sit here and we speak about these things, these are things that we're learning in the moment. These are things that we bounce off of each other as men, because it helps us all continue to grow.
Things that
and
we're
be better.
Humbling ourselves and going to God with.
Right.
To be. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it really should be follower, not because all they're doing is just repeating. You told me something. I'm repeating what you said. And then he's repeating what I said. Then he's repeating what. And that's all it is. So if a Sean King gets on there and says something, and we all retweet that, am I woke? Because it's he that actually said that.
You're literally
just repeating it.
But you're literally called a follower on the platform. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you're right. It's an indication of you being a follower.
That's what it is.
Woke. When you think about woke in the context that they put it in, is that you see injustices and you got to do something about it, right? But again, if you look at we follow Jesus, right? That's the kind of followers we are. And when you follow Jesus, it's righteousness and then justice. Yeah. It's not justice and then righteousness. And people got that backwards. They see injustice, they want to justify. But when you do that yourself, you're out of order. It's faithfulness, which is righteousness, which is walking in faith and trusting in him that he's going to justify us. That's true order. And then we come into his justice, right? So you can see something, but you got to know how to stay awake and keep watch. Mm-hmm. And that's like when you look at, again, you had the 3 disciples. Jesus said to them, stay awake or watch and pray, right? And it's so funny because Jesus was that thing that they looked towards. He was that symbol or that staff or that banner, whatever, that they looked towards to be able to do it. And he said, do it so that you don't fall into temptation, fall asleep. So a lot of people who claim they're woke, they're actually asleep. Mm-hmm. They're actually asleep to what God is doing. Because if you believe that there's a God and you believe that Jesus is your Savior, then if the disciples are going to fall asleep, then don't you think we might be falling asleep?
And they're the ones that walked with Jesus.
They walked with
every
him
day. You know?
But yet they fell into temptation. When he said, and he told them, watch, stay awake so that you don't fall into temptation. And they fell asleep.
Yeah.
And what happened? They weren't prepared to deal with what comes. So a lot of people, they see what comes, they're not prepared. Now they want to. And what did Peter do? He cut off the ear. That's his own justice, right?
Yeah.
For Jesus. And Jesus is like, what are you doing? I'm supposed to die.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this. So a lot of times people don't realize that we're supposed to die. We're, like in our injustice, we got to die. You see the injustice, die. Lay down your life, right? Lay it down. That's faith. So it's like the twisting of what does woke mean?
Yeah.
Invert that, have people walking in that way, and then that's where you get the mixture. But God wants to twist it back. You know, what does that mean? And that's why we need like clear cut understanding of what God is saying. Like it's all in the Bible. Everything we're saying, it's all Bible. Go read it. You know, Luke talks about, Luke 23, I think, or 24, talks about what I was just saying with the disciples. You can look up how faithfulness and justice is the foundation of God's throne. So in order for us to enthrone God in the world, that's how we work. We have to work in faithfulness and justice. And we're saying all these things because this is the key to shifting things in this world, you know, and it starts with us. And that's what true unity is about.
Right.
I think too, it's like one of the elements is that it makes you feel like you've done something. You don't physically have to do anything. You don't have to go change your community. You don't have to do anything. You can just retweet or co-sign something, and that gives you the feeling that, yes, I'm virtuous. I'm on the right path. I'm doing something because I retweeted this, or I'm arguing with some person online, and I'm giving them the business. So you think that you're really accomplishing something. You're not physically going out there to change your community. You're not going out and really getting to know your neighbor or really participating in these life experiences. You're doing it from the comfort of your couch.
Right.
It's reminding me of how you got on our friend about making the profile black.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What did that do?
Nothing.
Yeah. But that's what I think people, it's just, how much effort do I have to put in this? This much? All right, fine, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. You know?
But there are people that are going out and doing stuff in the community that is counterproductive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
you got Black Lives Matters. They're doing a lot. I was just talking about that with you, right?
Yeah.
About how much I just saw, like, I think it was on TBS. They had this whole thing about them, and they make it look like, I'm like, yo, they acting like a church the way they're talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're doing community outreach, and they're doing it in a way where we can do it. But of course, there's blocks there because they're accepting that, and they want that. So they're not gonna let us on a TBS or whatever because what we have to say is not connected to their agenda.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Right.
But it can shift because it starts in the community, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It starts in our communities. You know what I mean? And I think like that's what. Like I think we are coming into another awakening.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be about a person. It's going to be about a communal thing.
A body. And like you were saying, like TBS won't let us on, but we need platforms that are built that are outside of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or we need people in positions in those companies that think that aren't of that same mindset that everyone has to be of. Like they have like almost a barrier of entry, right? Where it's like you have to hold these ideological views.
And that's the benefit of social media too.
Right.
There's a good and a bad, which is it allows the platform for the people who felt like, nobody's gonna listen to me.
Yeah.
Well, you can start. You know what I mean? And you can you don't need TBS.
Right.
Is it gonna take work? Is it gonna take a lot of effort? Yes. I think people are starting to realize that, well, maybe I can make a change, you know, and I can use the little platform that I have. I don't have to be on such a high level, because before it was so daunting. So you look at it, you're like, man, I can't compete with this. I might as well quit, you know?
Yeah. Now you could you could just literally open up your cell phone.
If you reach one, you know, and you know, influence. Like I was just saying, I'm on a group on Facebook with builders, and it's just these guys just talk so bad about the young generation. So I posted on it and I said, so much negative. I just all I did was they were talking about how people are lazy and this and this, and I say that too, and I have to start checking myself because I'm like, all right, I'm complaining about this, but I'm speaking negativity. I'm calling negative things, and I'm complaining about the negative things, but I'm cheering it on. So I just posted and I said, so much negativity on here. Who's gonna want to work for you guys? So one of the guys challenged me about the kids today. I was like, yeah, but we all like that. Yeah. You know, we don't see it because we don't really self-examinate, you know, to really look at how we were. I said, but what if we change our attitudes into grooming, not just their skill? So we're complaining about their hammer skills or their lack of motivation, but what if we groomed their working character? Here's why you come to work early in the morning. Right. Here's why you clean up after you leave. What if we groom that and we'll get better? And then we say, listen, let's build together. Right. You know what I mean? And that turned into a whole thing where it was like people are like, you don't understand. You've been in and people they just want to complain about it.
But look at how that starts in the house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while you were saying that. The idea is you can't see, they can't even be self-aware enough to see that we failed the younger generation.
Yeah, the reflection of us.
To build them up into great men that want to work. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we've built a bunch of, you know, lazy video game, give me handouts from the government type of young men because that's what we've cultivated. Right. You know?
So
all came from the era of the 90s, by the way.
Yeah.
The era of daytime TV convinced everybody, lock your kids away, you know. So we changed everything.
Yeah. Low testosterone.
Dude,
and that's the truth. Crazy. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, even worse now.
The testosterone levels are so bad right now amongst young men.
Wow. Like, because of what, emasculation or just because of...
What's this right here? I can't see it.
Your classic lion beam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that work right there. Yeah. You gotta get out of that cage.
Yeah, they tested...
But think about it. Wouldn't a lion that's been caged his whole life have some low T?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't survive.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not hunting for their food.
Yeah. Men have the lowest I'm talking about young 20-something-year-old men have lower testosterone than 80-year-old men.
Yeah.
That bad?
Yes.
It is that bad.
Yes.
80-year-old men?
Yes, dude.
How bad
what
is
was the article? It's some guys that do videos or something like that, and they tested their own testosterone.
They did it live on YouTube. Some dudes that do like these YouTube videos, and they're like these huge progressive dudes. It's like 4 of them. So they did like testosterone tests. They were doing something to see who was the best man out of them. So part of the challenge was let's test our testosterone. And then when they got the results, like people started saying like, "Yo, this is insane."
Yeah.
And then there's other articles that go into it even more about how like that's a huge problem now. Yeah. Like the testosterone levels.
Well, we have really changed also the dynamic of what work and how things are too.
Yeah.
You know, like even I was talking to a truck driver and he had to quit. He said because his body, just sitting in that truck all day, he was having lots of problems.
Yeah, that's not normal. It's not natural.
It's not normal. Yeah. We've turned it into a career, but it really isn't.
And then think about it. You're driving, you're eating crap all day. Driving. And then think about the generation that we're talking about is probably the most soy-filled generation of all time.
Yeah. How is this food affecting them?
You know what I'm saying? All of the food has soy oil, soy products in it. Soy milk is like pushed as this alternative because milk is bad for some reason all of a sudden. And so, it kind of correlates with the fact that, you know, and then you think about, they talk about the water supply and how all of these, they test like the water supply and the amount of pharmaceuticals, like old expired pharmaceuticals, get flushed into the water system. There's like trace elements of all of these drugs, estrogen and stuff like that in the water. Yeah. You know what I mean? All that stuff affects the population.
Water bottles.
Yeah, water bottles. Water bottles are actually not good. Plastic bottles.
Water bottles all the time.
I know, but they really affect you in a way. Yeah. Think about it. When did the water bottle surge really jump off?
2000s.
And it's like the 2000s.
Yeah.
So we really don't know the long-term effects of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're right.
Or the studies, how whatever they're telling us, we don't know really.
Right.
They're giving us figures and stats, but we can't quantify that. We don't know. We just
exactly.
Okay.
So when you think about all this stuff, it becomes so overwhelming.
Yeah, that's what people are like, forget it. I'm not going to TBS.
So then what do we do?
But that's what I'm saying. You know the answer.
Yeah,
you got to get in this kingdom.
Say it, Jamie.
You got to get in this kingdom.
Say it, come on.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get right with the kingdom.
Yeah.
That's
faith, man.
Yeah,
we gotta trust in God.
You gotta become a young lion.
Dad, this is way too much for me. Can you do it, please? Because I put it in order for me. I can't.
And it's also too, man. Like true parenting is not looking for the easy way out or a leg up, but it's really teaching your kids those life lessons, whether it's spiritual, physical, or whatever it is. Like think about it, right? Like you guys, Sophia's too young, but think about it, right? COVID brought more parents and their children together academically.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When before you helped out a little bit, but not as much as you're doing it now.
Yeah.
To see the kind of stresses and the uselessness of what the modern education system is. So because it was just do it and get it over with.
Right.
Right. But now you see, wow. These kids are just doing things for the sake of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
There's no purpose behind it per se. You know what I mean?
Right, and this big giant machine that's moving, and everyone's in it for their own reasons.
That's what I'm saying though. But how come there's parents like now that we have a year worth of parents who've been working with their kids to stop and say, wait, hold on, what is this for again?
Because they're too caught up in I gotta watch my shows.
Right.
I gotta,
I'm sure you guys have probably all talked about like, what are these kids doing?
Dude, I wish I could like just homeschool my kids.
Right.
It's something that I think about because it's like I'm watching what they're learning and
you're doing the work already anyway.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, what stops Christians from like really saying, let's go to the next level. Let's teach our own children. You know what I mean? Like the church, the organized church.
Yeah.
Because there is Christian churches, but they're not like.
There's a lot of Catholic churches.
Yeah.
Or Catholic schools.
I think the Christian church is too divided, man. No one can agree on anything.
Right.
So
apologists
to agree
agree
on one set of curriculum, it would be like
such
wait
a
a
shame.
minute, no, but we can't teach this because that's not we don't agree with that. But we have to add in this because we see it this way. That's it.
Right.
I don't think I don't know. I think that's a huge problem. It needs to be more unity in the church.
It's a lot of stuff.
Ariana said, "My son is strictly virtual all year. I'm not sending him back." Yeah, but he's still dealing with the school system is what I'm saying. Like virtual school is even worse in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's harder to learn.
There's way more distractions for them.
Yeah.
The teacher can't really engage with them like that.
And the social.
Yeah, the social.
That's a big part of it.
They did a study
like
about
growing for a kid.
Is it Adderall? Adderall, and they were saying how these kids get through college on Adderall.
Yeah,
but then when they leave college,
they're addicted.
They're addicted to Adderall, and they can't function. So you were able to get these grades hooked on this thing.
Yeah,
but then when you go to work and you have that crash, and your boss needs that report done,
you pop them some more pills.
You become addicted
You're
to
reaching
it.
for that meth.
Yeah, it's speed. It's speed.
I thought Adderall was a combination of...
It is a combination.
It's like a methamphetamine, though, too, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a small dosage of that, like a microdose of methamphetamine.
Right.
Yeah.
That was... I rewatched that movie, and I realized how good it was. Limitless.
Yeah. That is a good movie.
The show's good, too.
I've never seen the show.
I was about to make the joke, and they turned it into a terrible show.
They always do that. Did y'all see the new Equalizer show?
No.
Queen Latifah. I saw the ad on the TV.
I did see it looks horrible.
Oh, it's like so.
It's horrible.
It's so reaching. Like she's like doing all this acrobatic stuff.
But it's so
Seriously.
fake. It's so fake.
Oh man,
It's just not believable.
it's not. That's what I mean. It's
That's the
reaching.
problem.
It's not meant for you guys.
It's
Ariana,
meant for the woke crowd.
Ariana said he's doing great with it though. He's actually doing a lot better virtual than he did in person in school. That's good.
Sometimes
I
it
mean,
happens.
sometimes
Kids learn their own ways, you know.
I remember.
really do.
I remember. You know, for a long time, I was very afraid to talk in class. You know, so sometimes I mean it could work. You know, but I was very afraid to talk in class because I didn't want people to listen to my accent.
Yeah.
So because kids will be chattering, and then as soon as I start to speak, they're all like,
Yeah. It'd be even worse on a Zoom call for you then, because the
Probably.
teacher calls on you. You have to unmute your mic, and then it's just you.
It's calypso music in the
just
background.
you. Yeah, right.
What is that chicken
God. Yeah, your mom's in the background. Oh God, boy.
No, I think it's, you know, and I think I wasn't prepared for the social, you know, to really enter this.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
eventually you get used to it too. You know, because then there's the downside to that is, what if we groom them into like a virtual and the actual when it does sort of starts getting back to normal, at least they can't function in the group.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to, like, you know, doing it through, you know, Zoom or whatever, however they're doing it, you know.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing hybrid with mine. Like,
Yeah.
which they just started doing. Now they're doing. So it's like confusing because now they opened up Wednesdays. It was just used to be like 2 days a week you go, and then 3 days you're virtual. Now they opened up Wednesdays. So, but it's every other Wednesday. So it's like
confusing.
Like I gotta remember every other Wednesday.
Did you go to school last Wednesday?
Right.
Yeah.
It's the first time when I could just say, I'm late for the bus.
He's doing.
Yeah.
No, he's doing Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah. How are your kids functioning? Like, do you see a change in them, or?
Well, Ari's in kindergarten, so this is her first experience with school. You know, just like Lucas. You know what I mean? His first.
But you said she's accelerated.
Cause she's just smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she does her homework like it's nothing. She hands it to me like done. You know what I mean? She does all her work. I don't even have to engage with her school, so her it's easy. You know what I mean? But she doesn't like. She would rather.
I see a change in her personality too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like she's like, when I come in, she's more like talkative, and like her little personality. I'm like, wow, like
she's always using all these big words that I didn't know she knew. But she doesn't like going to school. She would rather do it all virtual. Okay. You know what I mean? Like she would rather just do it all from home. Yeah. But I make her go because it's like, no, you got to get used to it.
But she's always been social.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, even when she was little.
Yeah.
Like when it starts, she's in there.
Yeah.
She's never been afraid.
No,
to
she's
jump in,
definitely not.
You know.
Y'all remember her? Y'all remember her getting in the hot tub with all them strangers?
You
remember?
Yep.
She said, "Let me on in here."
She would walk right in the middle of all of them. Like, no.
Yeah, I was watching her one time when y'all was gone, and she just dude just sitting right there. She's like,
she hopped right next to him, like,
right
yo,
I had to grab her. I'm like, Ari,
you
got to give him some space.
And he didn't want to say that. Yeah, but
I mean, you know, it's I don't know if it's when it's gonna come back, but it's probably gonna take them a little while to get used to the crowds, and because it's been so long, you know.
Yeah, I mean, mine go every 2 days. Mine go twice a week, so you know.
Noah and Jaden's been gone, so
yeah.
Jamie,
what?
Got something to do.
What you got to do? Oh yeah, we got to get it. I got to get a haircut.
I just don't want it to go too late.
You're right. And we got to pack up for Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, let's wrap this up, guys.
Wrap it up, boss.
Let's wrap it up, guys. That was a good conversation. And real quick, Saker said, pharma and meds become big part of our generation, set us for big failure. It is sad, under the name of ADHD. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push that on a lot of kids these days because it makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, you know, we're just trying to keep this. We're going to try to keep growing this kingdom. You know, if you want to support, remember you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV. Thank you to everybody who's been watching the whole time and commenting. We love all you guys. And
this
shout out
kingdom has room. Yeah.
Invite people in. This kingdom has room. Go invite people in. That's the last line of the song. Yeah. You know, we're looking for young lions. Come here. Come be a young lion. Get this meat. You know what I'm saying? Come get this meat. You know, when you ready to get off the milk, you know, what do young lions feed on? They feed on the meat. So you come here, you get this meat.
After murdering them below.
Nah, but all jokes aside, you know, God bless everybody. We appreciate you. Shout out to James for joining us again, Mr. Bill Wright. You can check out his stuff, his work. If you need any work done, hit him up, Mr. Build Wright on Facebook. And shout out to John and Rachel for holding it down. Rachel did her thing on the visual today. But we'll see you guys next week. We out of here.
Young lion go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This